How are we doing this evening? Welcome back to George's on the Town, y'all. It's good to be back for the Eagle Nation Coaches Show. Some of y'all weren't aware of it, but we thank y'all for coming out and tolerating us. Hey, thank y'all for coming out for all of your kind of Wednesday evening plans. And thank you guys for watching live on YouTube, wherever you might be. I saw that there were a few people waiting as I got the stream rolling. And I'm your host, Carl Schoening. And we missed last week because of a bye week, but this week we are happy to have the Coaches Show back and get to talk about that fun win over Hendrickson. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, 37-33. It was a back-and-forth battle. We'll talk about it with Coach. We'll talk with Brian Hargrove on the offensive line. We'll also talk with Carson Salceda. And I think Miss Kay, I don't know if you heard, but you're back on for tonight if you want to come on up. So, yeah, thank you. I don't know who coordinates the Booster Club segments anymore, but, yeah, we're always happy to have you back on. So, yeah, we'll have a quick break, and then we'll be joined by head coach Chuck Griffin when we return here on the Eagle Nation's Coaches Show. Thank you all for coming out. George's on the Town, a social grill, is a proud supporter of GISD Athletics. Located just off of South I-35 in Rivery, George's on the Town offers an upbeat, casual dining experience that's fun for everyone. From rehearsal dinners and work events to happy hour and Sunday brunch, there's always something to do at George's on the Town. Be sure to check out live music on their pet-friendly patio every Thursday at 7, and of course the Eagle Nation Coaches Show on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. We can't wait to see you.
Hey, it's Chip from Hewlett Volkswagen. It's that time of year for fall, football, and family. And our family has been making it easy on your family for almost 20 years, like with our new Express online shopping tool, where you can find the perfect Volkswagen fit for your life and budget. This month, save $3,600 on a new 2020 Jetta S. You can drive away in a brand new Volkswagen for under $20,000. We have a lot to choose from. Hewlett Volkswagen, off I-35 in Westinghouse, or see for yourself at hewlettvw.com.
All right. Welcome back to George's on the Town Eagle Nation Coaches Show. I'm your host, Carl Schoening, now joined by the head coach of your 4-1 Georgetown Eagles, Chuck Griffin. We also heard that it was a little dark. You can thank daylight savings time for that, so hopefully you can see us a little bit better on the screen. I think it looks a little bit better. We have the Christmas lights kind of on around our backdrop here, but Coach, the worst part about the bye week for me was waiting a week to talk to you about what a fun game that was. I imagine it was stressful for you, but looking back on it, that was a good one to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was. Those games are stressful. They always are when they're back and forth. But the thing I think that makes it different when it's a tight game like that is we were playing well. We were kind of overachieving throughout the game. So it being tight relaxes you a little bit just because you're back and forth and overachieving. If you're underachieving and it's tight, then it's really difficult. But I thought we were overachieving in the game, playing well, and so I thought it was good, man. That's a big win for our program. Probably one of the best district wins we've had in the last couple of years. So feel good about it, and we grew from it. We had a great bye week last week. We practiced 3 times last week just trying to prepare and get better and really kind of set us up for this week.
You talked about last time we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, having a complete 4-quarter game. You didn't want any comebacks, and it's a good thing because if you had to come back, you might not have won that game.
Yeah, absolutely. We were able to drive down, score on the opening drive, and then really, to be honest with you, we had them stopped on the opening drive and just gave up a penalty that allowed them to go down and score and kind of gave it back to them. But, man, we really played well. I thought defensively, 2 big mistakes. One in special teams and one just a penalty gave them both touchdowns, or else the defense shuts them out. The defense really kind of locked them down in the first half. So, defense played well. Offensive line, we challenged them on the week, and maybe they weren't so technically right throughout the game, but they were more physical than they had been, and just moving bodies around and being more aggressive, and they were better in that game than they had been in the last couple of weeks. So it turned out good for us, and kids just played really hard.
We talked about it in the booth, how that was a fun game for us to watch, both Kelly and I. But on the field, it must be hard sometimes just to, be so caught up in being a fan of the game when you have to have the intensity of a coach. But when you look back at that film and you know that it's a win, how much better is that intensity of a back-and-forth game like that?
Well, I mean, it's always better to win. Watching the film of a win is a whole lot better than watching the film of a loss any day of the week. It doesn't matter if it's a blowout or if it's a close game, But you're right. You don't have time to be a fan in the game. When you're coaching like that, especially in a tight game, kind of every decision is, man, this could be the decision that wins the game. This could be the decision that wins the game in a tight game like that. And you just go out and you're just like a kid at that point. You go out and you do your job, you do what you're supposed to do, and try to make the calls that you're supposed to make, try to put your kids in a position to win, and then let them go pull it out.
When it's all said and done, Hendrickson might be the second best opponent that you face in this regular season.
Sure.
So how does it feel when you get that kind of barometer win?
It's big. That when I said a while ago, it's one of the biggest wins we've had in district play in the last couple of years, and it really is, because the last few years we've beat the people we were supposed to beat, and we didn't win the games we weren't supposed to win. And that's kind of the way it's been. Not every district win is good. Every district win is big. When you qualifying for the playoffs is huge. But really, a 2014 beating Vista Ridge at their place, a 2015 beating Vandergrift at their place to qualify for the playoffs, or 2016 beating Hutto over there at their place with Chase as a quarterback. I mean, those are all big wins, and this one kind of ranks up there with those.
Well, we lost the camera feed. My assistant/girlfriend is on that to make sure that we get it. Thank you so much, Bianca. The button's on the left. For those of you watching at home, sorry, you're just getting the feed of our stream. And thank you to, it might not have been the person who called me. I think it might have been a solicitor trying to let me know that our camera feed was off. But, Coach, moving on to the bye week. When we talk about the bye week, what kind of stuff do you do? Is it a nice time to recover? Or is it time to turn up the intensity because you don't have to worry about a game on Friday? How do you handle bye weeks?
A little bit of both. The challenge is there to continue to get better. I mean, you're at the point in the season where you got to get better at every practice, get it better every week. That's just the point of the season you're in. So that is a big deal. But you do have some time to maybe pull a couple of kids out who are a little banged up and let them rest some if you need that. Obviously, we get a little bit more rest just because there's a little bit less planning that takes place and a little bit less of that. So we do get maybe a little bit more. I wouldn't say rest. So just our schedule is a little bit lighter. It's a little bit different. We did not bring the kids in after school all last week. We went every day, everything in the mornings, and they were done after school. So it gives them a chance to catch up in the classroom and on grades and those kind of things as well. But planning for us is just we wanted to pick up the intensity of that week, and we did some stuff where there's a lot more one-on-one, good on good stuff in practice, and planned it that way. So it's a little bit of both. You do practice a little bit less. You're not adding anything new. You maybe a little bit less time from that standpoint, but what you do practice is a little bit more intense, a little bit more focused. You're allowed to go back and clean some things up, do some special teams things that maybe you need to pick up and clean because you don't have the time during a normal game week. So you're able to do a few of those things too.
Well, we have the video feedback. Thank you for helping me on that, Bianca. And, that's always a nice break, especially right here in the middle of the season. After 5 games, roughly the middle of the season. I know only on 9 this year, but you can also have a little bit more time to prepare for your next opponent. And this Anderson team has a record flip of 1-4. They only won their first game of the season against McCallum. But a team that's lost 4 straight has to be starving for a win, and that makes them dangerous. So how do you go into that kind of matchup?
Well, I think you talk to your kids. You always talk to them about the trap game, the one after a big win. You talk to them about that a little bit. And then you also talk to them about every opponent we're going to play can beat you. I mean, that's just the way it is in football. So we've got to go out well planned and well prepared and go out and play well. I mean, they've got some weapons on offense. They got a receiver. They got a young quarterback, but their little running back and receiver are really good. They've got a big slot receiver that presents some matchup problems. They're good. They're a well-coached football team. They're 1-4, and I've been in that situation myself before. And you're right, they're dangerous. They're looking for that win, and they're going to come out with guns blazing. And you get everybody's best shot when you're in that way. So we're just going to go out there and try to line up and let our kids do the best they can and make big plays and see how it goes.
Have you ever been out to House Park?
Yes. Yeah, we scrimmaged Austin High for years, so we scrimmaged there a good bit. And when I was here the first time, we actually played Anderson. They were on our regular season schedule as a non-district game, so we've played there before too.
We have a couple interviews today. Brian Hargrove will be coming in from the right tackle position, offensive line joining us, as well as Carson Salceda, who you didn't realize was going to be on your team until a couple weeks before the season. So could you just tell us a little bit about those two gentlemen?
You know, those guys have done a great job. Brian is our right guard, and, you know, Brian had big shoes to fill, played some varsity last year, started a game or two for us, you know, and was kind of our sixth offensive lineman, started, I think, at both guards last year for us. And then had big shoes to fill, and just with some really senior heavy offensive line last year, and man, he's done a fantastic job, and he's gotten better every week, you know, and probably surpassed our expectations a little bit about what he's able to do, and man, he just locked in that starting spot, and he's doing a really good job, you know, and then Carson's done a fantastic job too. You know, knock on wood. You know, he's perfect right now in the season, and that's hard to do for any kicker. And he's just going out there and doing what we ask him to do and doing a good job of it. So man, we're excited to have both of those guys on our team and here tonight. And man, they're Georgetown Eagles all the way. So they'll be good representation of us.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Good luck on Friday. We appreciate you coming on out, and you know, good old daylight saving time, just making us a little bit darker out here. But that doesn't mean you can't come on out to enjoy us. We're out here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Yep. Thank you guys all for coming out, and Coach, appreciate your time.
Got it. Thanks, Carl.
All right. Next up, we'll have Brian Hargrove on. Brian, why don't you roll on up? No need to take a break. Oh, careful on the chair. You break it, you buy it. All right. Got the video feed on, got the lights. That's not bothering you too much, I hope. All right. So we'll just go ahead and unmute you there. Brian, hey, thank you for joining the show. And Coach mentioned it when I asked him, you're moving into a full-time starter role. So how's that experience been through 5 games this season?
It's been good. Last year I had started about halfway through the season because Jacob Estrada got hurt at the Hutto game. So I had started the Cedar Park game and then started the rest of the year there. So I'm about a few more than 5 games in as a starter. But it's a good experience. It's a lot of fun. It's hard work, but it's definitely worth it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys are the unsung heroes because if you guys aren't playing well, the rest of the team doesn't play well on the offensive side of the ball. So, and you know, you can even translate that into maybe the defense doesn't get as much of a rest as well. So, what is it just like playing in the trenches down there, specifically that right guard position?
It's some tough work that you have to do. It's a grind every play, and it's just you got to power through, work through it every play. You can't take a play off or else everything crumbles. So you got to work hard every play, and it's tough work.
It is, yeah, and you know there's probably the other aspects of it in terms of physical fitness. So you have to put on some pounds. How's that experience going, working in the weight room and just trying to be as physically fit as possible for that right guard position?
It's good. Work out about 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays after school. So working in the weight room, working on getting big, getting more muscle than fat, but just getting big, getting as strong as we can throughout the year.
That's certainly the goal, I imagine. You know, just trying to keep your weight too, because that's the one thing is I've understood sometimes during the course of the season, players' weights go down because you're working so hard. So I imagine you have to make sure you get enough calories in too.
Definitely, that's a big deal. Making sure you're eating enough, because if you're not eating right, then that work in the weight room doesn't work. So.
Yeah. Kelly Duvall calls y'all the buffet killers, which unfortunately during COVID, that's one of the casualties is buffets as far as I know. But, yeah, it's always smart to make sure you keep up and don't lose too much weight because you got to hold back some big guys. When you're dealing with the defense, what are the things that you're maybe looking to do depending on which play you might have, especially with that run game that you guys have behind you?
Well, we definitely got to make sure that we keep our hands inside, because if you keep your hands outside, it opens up your chest, and it allows the defense to get in there and drive you back. So you definitely want to keep your hands inside. Keep a wide base, too, so you don't get off balance. So,
Is there really a difference when you know that either Ryan or Nate or Ross are back there just trying to make sure that you can establish that run game, or do you have something specific that changes with whoever the back is in the backfield?
It stays the same throughout all the backs. They do a great job working, running, finding holes for us, so it helps us out a little bit. But we definitely make sure to try to open up gaps as wide as we can for them.
All right. Coming up this week, got Anderson. What do you know about the Trojans?
They got a little bit smaller D-line, but we're still going to treat it like a normal game. Going to work hard and try to power through the fourth quarter all the way. So.
Awesome. I hear some resounding agreement there from your teammates. Who do you got out here? Who's giving you the hardest time out of everybody over here? I don't know if you can hear them as well with the headset on.
Well, I'm going to say about Jacob Estrada probably right there. Trey Flores also a little bit giving me a hard time.
Yeah. How has this been as a year of bonding with your teammates, with it being such a different year, but still having opportunities like this to come out and hang out with people?
It's an experience for sure. It's not seeing them as much, but we're still definitely seeing them through football practice and hanging out here and there a little bit. But no, it's definitely different than what it would have been. But man, I've been growing up with these guys for 4+ years, and it is just great to know them, great to be with them, great to be brothers with them.
The stage is yours for everybody out here, everybody watching, the countless many watching on YouTube. What would you have to say to their fans that have come out here and how they've supported you throughout this year?
They've done a great job showing up and supporting us. It's great. You can't really play in a quiet stadium, so having them out there and making some noise is a really big deal for us.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on in those NFL stadiums that's not allowing the fans. Are they piping in the crowd noise, or are we just hearing that on TV? I have to figure that one out, but I'm glad that we're not dealing with the quiet stadium situation.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big deal to have some noise going.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Brian.
Thank you.
Good job on the play so far this season. Looking forward to the second half.
Thank you.
All right, that was Brian Hargrove here, the right tackle for the Georgetown Eagles, and he gets a nice round of applause from our audience here. Don't forget, you can always join us at George's on the Town, 6 o'clock every Wednesday. And Carson Salcedo, come on up. That's right, your turn to get interviewed. All right. So I was talking to Coach about it during his interview. You were not sure that you were going to be on the team in the summer, right? Like we didn't know who the kicker was going to be when we asked as broadcasters. How was the story of how you became the kicker here on the Georgetown team?
Well, I've actually been kicking since 7th grade, so I've been here the whole time. Last year, the kicker got hurt, and there was a couple guys fighting for this spot, and I didn't win the spot last year, but it kind of drove me to put in some extra effort to get there this year.
Okay, so when we asked Coach Griffin at the beginning of the season who the kicker was, it was more of a didn't know. You've been on the team then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, hey, happy to have you. You know, most kickers have a soccer background. Are you one of those kickers?
Yes, sir, for sure. That's what got me into kicking. In middle school, I didn't want to be the kicker. You know, that's kind of frowned upon, but they just asked for a soccer player to come kick one day, and they wanted me to be the kicker.
Well, somebody's got to do it, right? I mean, you have to at least have a kickoff for every game, whether it's middle school, and you know, if you do the field goals, that's a little more rare, but all that kind of stuff. So, hey, you know, that's actually, you've done a really good job, again, knock on wood, if you're superstitious. Perfect so far on the season. Let me ask you, I want to get this myth out of the way right now. Laces in, does that matter?
I'll probably still make it.
Okay, that's the answer I'm looking for. Like you don't want to deal with that excuse of laces in, and I get the feeling that Ace Ventura movie, if you've ever seen the Ace Ventura movie I'm even referencing, really blew that out of proportion. Have you seen that Ace Ventura movie?
No,
No.
sir.
Can I ask what year you were born?
2003.
Okay, yeah, you were born after that movie was popular, so the people in the stands who saw it get it, but there's a whole big thing from a early Jim Carrey movie, which is probably not going to be watched by anybody in your generation. So, anyhow, moving on. What position do you play in soccer?
In soccer, I'm forward.
Okay, so you're doing most of the scoring. I've kind of wondered which position might translate better. So that kind of forward/striker position, is that really where you think translates into a football kicker?
I think the biggest thing in soccer and scoring goals is that translate to kicking is short-term memory, because you take a lot of shots in soccer and you just got to forget all the ones you miss and just hope you score the next one. Just like kicking, if like so far I haven't missed, but I know maybe one day down the road I'll miss one. Just got to put it in the past and go make the next one.
That's definitely the attitude you need to take, because you can't let one, move on to the next one. I was going to ask you another question. I blanked on it. I beg your pardon. But, talking about the bye week, how's this bye week treated you, and how do you feel going into this Anderson game?
I'm pretty confident going into the Anderson game. The bye week didn't really change too much. I still went down to the stadium every day and got my kicks in. So.
And what is your general routine for practice?
Mondays and Tuesdays I go pretty heavy. They let me go down to the stadium, so I kind of get the stadium to myself for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and on those days I'll kick a lot. And Wednesdays I'll kick in the morning, and then they usually do a 2-minute drill where I kind of have to kick like a game winner in practice. So they put a little bit of pressure on me, and then Thursday we kind of go through the script. I'll kick like what is going to be on the game, and then Friday I don't kick at all until the warm-ups for the game.
With nobody coming at you, what's the furthest you've ever kicked it in practice?
I kicked a 48-yarder a couple weeks ago in the stadium.
Awesome. Great. You think you're ready for that in the game?
In the game, maybe 40, 45 yards, I think.
All right.
I think I'd be pretty good for them.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on that. State championship on the line, and it comes down to a last-second field goal. We'll trust you from 40 and about 48 range, so we'll be ready to go.
Yes, sir.
All right, so, we're out here at George's on the Town. Happy that you came out for the interview. I wanted to ask about your special teams group in general. How do you, how is that group kind of different from the other two sides of the ball that everybody really pays attention to, even though you're probably the third side that doesn't get talked about as much?
I mean, the special teams, they're really good. Rex Lee's been a great long snapper. I'm going to wear 100% with him. I have Briggs McGee. He'll be back for this week. I'm looking forward to having him there. Cord Sparkman, he held for me last year, so I kind of have that chemistry with him, and I think we'll still be good the rest of the year moving forward.
So, it's a unique situation where you have a 5-star and a 4-star deep snapper. Usually you just kind of have to find somebody who's close enough these days. But when you have those two guys, how much easier does that make your job?
It makes it really easy. I don't really have to think too much about just kick the ball and hope it goes in, I guess.
All right, awesome. Any trick plays where maybe we'll work it into where you kind of do like a little rollout? And are you ready to catch a fake if we need you to?
If they need it, yeah, I'm down.
All right. Maybe we'll get that into practice at some point. I know that Cord can sling it, so you have a good guy to hold it and make it an accurate pass.
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't want to throw out too much. I'm just a sideline, or what's it called, armchair coach. So that's all Coach Griffin's call. But good to know that you have the confidence to take that on. You seem like a confident young man, and that's very much needed for your position. Anything you'd like to say to the fans and the people in attendance and anybody watching?
Shout out Bomb Squad, GTX Sports Recovery. My family, I know a lot of them are watching tonight, and especially my dad.
Okay, what's the Bomb Squad?
The Bomb Squad is the field goal unit. So
okay.
Whenever we go out there and score on the kicks.
Okay, but you're not the Bomb Squad when you don't score, but you're perfect, so you've been the Bomb Squad all season.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll be sure to remember that and mention it on the broadcast, things that we learn here on the show.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for coming on, Carson. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that was Carson Salceda, our special teams kicker here on the George's on the Town Eagles Nation Coaches Show. Next up, Miss K, do you have a few minutes of your time? Is that all right if we bring you on? Anybody else from the Coaches Show or the Booster Club want to come on? It's always an open invitation. But one of our favorite people to talk to, Miss K. All right, welcome back on.
Thank you.
I noticed last week, or 2 weeks ago, I take it, that and now as I lower this volume, you're very confident on there. So I appreciate that. And it makes it easy just to have a good broadcast. But
right.
You're actually in an a cappella group. Is that right?
That is correct. I sing with the group out of Temple, Texas. and we haven't been able to sing this year due to the pandemic, but we're still every week we Zoom and rehearse. Maybe we'll get to sing by Christmas. We'll see.
I was trying to work in a plug for an upcoming gig, so
Don't have one.
Nah,
No,
okay.
we don't
well,
have one.
well, we'll keep that up to date here. Hopefully, you have something on the schedule before the end of this season, and
We hope
can
so.
we can promote that. That'll be
Okay.
fun.
That'll be fun.
So this week's a little bit different. The game will be at House Park. Are you up to date on where the tailgate and those kinds of things will be?
I am.
Awesome.
The tailgate will be at Schultz at 5 o'clock. So we want everybody to come out and get loud and get ready and come to the game and support the boys. We're very excited about this game.
Yeah, it is a big game to
It is a big game.
finally come back and be off of the bye week and try and improve that district record.
I know coaching the boys probably enjoyed having a week off. I've missed football. I'm ready for some football.
I did too. Yeah, it's always good, but football's such a big sport that those bye weeks I feel like they're almost too infrequent. But they'll have two this year, obviously. The next one being on Thanksgiving, if you're interested in knowing what the schedule is ahead of time. What's on the menu at Schultz? I've never been there. Have you?
I have not, but I understand it. Everybody else knew who it was, where it was, and so they were excited about it. So I guess it's good.
And that's the places you want to go to.
Absolutely, that everybody knows. Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a little bit closer to Darrell K. Royal, and the game will not be at DKR. It'll be at House
Darn,
Park.
that's too bad.
Yeah. Talk about room for social distancing.
Right, we could do that.
102,000
We could do
people
that. Yes, we
stadium.
could.
That'd be
Yes.
awesome. I'd love to broadcast the game from out there. Have you been to House Park before?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, that's a historic place. It has
Yes.
a really nice view of downtown. It's great.
Exactly. Yes, it's kind of hard to get to. It's kind of hard to get out of, but it's a lot of fun.
Very much so, as I'm happy that I'll be there early
Right.
to set everything up, and then I'll be there late to tear everything down, so I don't have to worry about
miss
that
it
as
all.
much. But
Yeah.
it looks like traffic is just horrendous there, trying to get out on Lamar. Hopefully
Right.
there's some officers that'll help you guys out.
Hope so. Yes.
Now I don't even know this because I have special parking from media, but where will the Georgetown fans have to park? Do you know?
Wherever you can find a place.
All right, that's the advice we got for you. But it is at Schultz Gardens, so we're excited about that. Is there any other Booster Club news that maybe I should know about? Yes.
Next week, and I'm not sure what you're going to do about this. They're having a pep rally next week on Wednesday.
Correct. Yes.
Because next weekend is homecoming, and so they are going to have a pep rally. I understand it's at 5:30.
Yes, and that was exactly what I was just double checking. Now, Coach Griffin let me know about that. We'll keep you guys updated on our Twitter. Follow us at SHN Sports on what's going on with the Georgetown pep rally. I would imagine that would probably mean that Georges on the Town won't be hosting the show next week. But
Probably not.
Yeah, if you want to come on out for an after party, that'd be good, fine by everybody here at Georges on the Town. And we'll probably be able to do a coaches show at the pep rally. Maybe
would imagine.
maybe we just do it out on the field as opposed to going up to the press box, or maybe vice versa.
Sure.
We'll figure that out. That shouldn't
Okay.
be too hard to figure out. We'll just have to get with Curtis on that. Curtis, who does a great job with Georgetown ISD, making sure everything's set up. Now, forgive me if I am mistaken, but $15 to get into the Booster Club, and you don't have to be a parent of a Booster Club, right?
That's right.
A kid.
I haven't had a kid in school since '86, so yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're still out here supporting. We appreciate that.
Every week, yes.
Yep, it's a good fun. Well, I hope
It
you didn't
is
show up
fun.
last week.
It is
We
fun.
did relay that information, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Good to know. Well, great. Any final thoughts here as we wrap up the show?
Brian Hawkins is not here tonight because Brandon is playing. He plays for Boise State, and they are playing BYU this week, and they're allowing parents into the game, and that's where he went. So I hope to be able to see Brandon on Saturday, watch him play as well, or
yeah.
Friday, whichever day it is. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either,
Yeah.
but good luck to Boise State because
Yeah.
BYU, geez, they're
I know.
they're pretty
They
good.
always have been. Yes, they have.
Yeah, my team is Texas State, and I'm pretty sure it was something like 40 points when they went to visit them. So, but that's how that goes. Texas State's
Right.
1-7, and BYU's like 13th in the country.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
and they've always been a powerhouse. So.
yeah, and those kind of things are what happens
Yeah.
when BYU is playing, and they have I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 7 home games this year, maybe even more. So because just COVID, they have to kind of randomly find some people. So
Exactly.
glad that Brian has such a fun game.
Right.
How was the Monday meeting? Were you at the Monday meeting this
Yes,
week?
I was.
All right. How was that?
It was good. We were glad to get back together. Hadn't been together because of the bye week, but yes. And also next weekend at the game, we have new merchandise. We have sweatshirts, hoodies that are for sale. So come out and look and buy them and support the Booster Club.
And they'll be
because you never know what Coach Griffin wants to purchase this year. So
there
we
you
have
go.
to make as much money as we can. And since we haven't been able to have many fundraisers, we're scrounging here.
Sure thing, yeah. So, go ahead and get your Georgetown gear. Y'all will be selling
Right.
it at the game.
At the game next week, not this week. We'll be at home games.
Okay, great. So it'll be next week that you guys can get your brand new coach's gear, or Monday nights at the.
That's true. That we were selling them Monday night at the Booster Club.
Correct. Yes. So the Booster Club meeting at the Field House, I believe it's a 6 o'clock
6
meeting.
o'clock at the Field House.
And if y'all think that this is a fun show, Coach Griffin doesn't hold back. He really will dive in and talk about what happened last week and really go over film and talk about the sub-varsity.
Right.
So that's really that's a much better show on Monday night than Wednesday night. We just kind of make it fun for
We
the
just
fans.
talk.
Yeah, and there's not a kitchen at the Field House.
Right. But our sub-varsity, our freshmen, and our B teams are doing very well this year, like always. And they'll just transition in on to varsity in the coming years. So we have a good program. We've had a good program since I've been here. So come out and support the Eagles.
Awesome. One last question before I let you go. What did you think of last week's game? That was a fun one, wasn't it?
Oh, that was fun. It was a little different because we had not had to start the game. We'd always deferred or the other team wanted to play. But we went right down and scored immediately, and I went, okay, this is good. So as long as we scored every time they did, we were ahead.
Yeah, that was the fun thing. I can't remember too many games where a score was a lead change every time.
Every time.
Yeah, that was a really fun way that game went.
Yes.
Well, Ms. Kate, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
for
on
having
out.
me.
Yeah, we appreciate.
Hopefully Brian will be back next week.
Yeah, Brian, and then maybe somebody else will come on,
Right,
and we can discuss the various roles within the Booster Club. But
Okay.
always appreciate your support. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
out every
Thanks
week.
for having me.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate everybody. My parents came out. It's my dad's birthday. Happy birthday to Bill
happy
over
birthday.
there. Yeah, so.
You guys got to win this week now. You understand? Okay.
All right, Miss K said so. We appreciate it, Miss K. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, thank all of y'all for coming out as well. 6 o'clock every Wednesday, except for next Wednesday where we have a pep rally. So that one will be from Birkelbach Field. Hope that you guys can come out to that one. Be nice, safe, socially distanced from everybody. Big space like that. So we'll keep you updated on how we're going to do the show from Birkelbach. Big thanks to everybody watching at home. Carson Salceda, Brian Hargrove, Coach Griffin for joining us. And thanks. Y'all have a good night. 7:30 kickoff at House Park. Not a 7 o'clock like we've been used to. A 7:30 kickoff. Only other 7:30 kickoff of the game of the season was the Belton game, Week 1. You get back to 7 o'clock the rest of the season until playoffs, when you never know when kickoff is. So thank you guys for tuning in. SHN Sports will have the broadcast pregame starts at 7 on Friday. Thanks for coming out, y'all.